Hello and welcome to a special Rage Quit podcast with myself, Tricky. No, I'm not a supply teacher for a special needs school. We have got two Spurs fans with us today. We have got Ian as a special guest from the Gaming Generations podcast. Being a Spurs fan, special time. Thought we'd get you on. Ian, how you doing?
Good. I'm very good actually, Tricky.
Yeah, I
And
thought you would
we're
be.
gonna have a civilized conversation, but you fired shots instantly starting the show there. So
Yeah, I
I
know.
think you set the tone there, mate.
Yeah, well, do you know, we said we're going to have a civilized conversation. I can't help myself. It's just, and we've also got Rich, as always. He's decorated. Rich, how you doing?
I'm good, mate. I mean, I'm a bit gutted that we didn't get to do the podcast yesterday, but like you said, like you celebrating your anniversary yesterday, so you couldn't do it yesterday, which is quite convenient. Your anniversary was yesterday because it gives you, as an Arsenal fan, something to celebrate at the end of the season, doesn't it?
So, do you know, it's amazing you guys' availability. That's one thing I noticed. I'm gonna have to change it to here. Yeah, I'm fine. Oh, I'm gonna have to change it to this time. Yeah, I'm fine. It, None of you guys know this, but it's actually Rich's son's birthday, and he's cancelled his birthday party today, just to do this podcast. So thank you very much.
I mean, it's not, but I would.
Yeah. So we're here. We're not going to talk games. We're not going to talk movies. It's a special occasion. I thought I'd let you guys have your moment. So this is like a little. It's just going to be a roast of Tricky, isn't it? But so for anyone that is not interested in football, it's not the pod for you. We'll talk games and movies in the next one, but this is purely Spurs have won the Europa League, and it is a great achievement for Spurs. Um, and I'll tell you what, the floor's yours, guys. Let's start off. I don't want to.
Can I just start by saying it's actually quite nice to hear an Arsenal fan say it's an achievement?
Oh,
Because all I've heard all week is, well done, you've won the Mickey Mouse Cup. Considering Arsenal were in it for 5, 6 years, trying to win it and didn't, and then all of a sudden now it's a Mickey Mouse Cup.
I was more thinking Euro trash, but yeah, it is an achievement. Regardless, it's you can only win what you're in at the end of the day.
Hmm.
Um, and you think Man United weren't chomping at the bit to win that trophy? Jesus Christ. That's the thing I loved about that final. Well, we'll talk about the actual game, but the background to the game, you know, your both sides have been terrible all season, and to get yourself into a final where it was all or nothing was fascinating. It was literally was fascinating. But you got to admit that was a crap game of football.
Do you know it's worked out quite well actually? Because obviously, the end of last season we played Man City, and that Son miss in that game
Mm,
meant Man City won the league last year, didn't they?
yeah,
But it's actually meant more because if Son had scored that goal, we would have been in Champions League football this season, and no doubt, I'm not delusional. Like we wouldn't have made it that far in the Champions League, but because Son missed that goal, not only did Arsenal not win the league that season, but we got into Europa and it's got us a trophy.
yeah, yeah, and you're now in the Champions League next season, which is massive. It is massive. Ian, I've asked Rich this a few times. I've pretty much asked him this all season long, but Ange Postecoglou, does he stay? What are your thoughts on him?
I think when the euphoria from the cup win calms down, which probably won't be for several years, being a Spurs fan, and I've only seen our team win two trophies in my lifetime, and I'm 44 years old now. So um, I think once the euphoria dies down, they need to take a very serious look at actually how the season's played out. Like we finished 17th in the league.
Yeah.
Win the cup is incredible, but 17th in the Premier League, where with a points total that would have seen us relegated in many seasons past,
2002 and
is quite
2003. 2002, 2003, you've been relegated.
well. West Ham went down with 44 points, didn't they? Was it that
That
season?
was that season.
Oh,
Yeah.
6 points behind that this season. And I think, look, winning the cup is an achievement. It really is. Our team has had its problems this season, but when you look at stats, and Chicky, you're going to love this. Arsenal have had more players out for longer times than Spurs have this season, like, officially, and have finished second in the Premier League
That's actually quite
and got to the
surprising.
champion.
I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
I've looked up some stats for this just to throw at you, but kind of got thrown back in my face, and I read them all. To be fair, um, yeah, but and got to a Champions League semi-final, and I think there is precedent where managers have kept their jobs because they've won a trophy. Erik ten Hag last season comes to mind, who then proceeded to piss up Manchester United's transfer kitty and then get sacked a couple of months later and leave them in the ledge that they are now.
Mm.
So, Hart, I love Ange. But ahead, I think, is it time for a new manager to come in and maybe take the team in a different direction? Rich, I'd like your opinion on that because obviously you're a Spurs fan as well, and obviously we are very happy we've won a title. But how do you feel about it, mate?
It's I've had this conversation with him so many times. Like, I'm literally 50-50. Like, you can't help but like the bloke. And
Yes.
I think in one of the first podcasts I said to you, I think because we were talking about it, and I said, I think I remember saying to you, we'll be lucky if we get 40 points this season.
I did ask you, will you
Thinking-
get 40 points? And you were like, "Oh, I don't know."
It's kind of quite similar to the end of the Pochettino era, because we hadn't won away for what, 8 months, I think, in Pochettino thing. And I mean, the whole Champions League thing that season paved over the cracks and stuff. And I mean, we made it to the final, but he still got sacked. Like,
I tell you,
I don't know. I think I said to you last time, didn't I? If he won the Europa, I think they'll give him 5 to 10 games at the start of the season, because the trouble is now, the Spurs have kind of shot themselves in the foot, because yes, they've won a trophy and it's amazing, but all these Ange out fans that are already in place, it's going to get to, say we lose quite a few games in the first 10 games, straight away they've got that, we won a trophy last season, this isn't going to win us a trophy, need to get rid of him sort of mentality. But I don't know.
So I tell you one thing that I noticed, and I said to you while the game was on. Ange played a very different style in that final. The high line was not there, and I kind of feel as if that is now he's got no defense. He cannot say now in the league, that's how we're going to play. That's how I play, and that's how we're going to do it. Because at the end of the day, when he really wanted to win, he threw it out the window. And it just shows if he treated every game in the Premier League like a final, he'd play differently. And
yeah, I think managers are going to change it up a bit in finals, aren't they? No matter what they say, they're going to,
because they want to win the game. So what he needs to do is treat every game in the Premier League as a final. He can't.
I think injuries kind of played into us winning the trophy, because obviously we played Bissouma, Sarr, and Bentancur just sat as three big lumps in midfield, and Man U didn't have a sniff against them. But if Maddison and Bergwall had been fit and played, we wouldn't have had that solid midfield. That kind of ruined the game. I mean, our entire squad ruined the game. I mean, Romero was having the time of his fucking life, wasn't he? To be fair, against Harry Maguire.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, the horrible, nasty little bastard. But yeah, I think it kind of played in our hands. But if you approach every game in that way, you're not going to win 1-0 every time. You're going to get stumped a few times, I think.
Yeah. Now, I am a big fan of Ange Postecoglou. I've always, since he turned up at Spurs, I was like, I'm pissed he's gone to Spurs, because this guy, I quite like this guy. The way he talks, he's up front, he's straight with everyone. He's great. I don't think he had quite enough swag at the end of the final. Directly, when he went to he was still looking at the ground, and it wasn't. I wanted more. Now, when he was pissed up during the trophy parade, that was a bit better. He has made the comment about the third season's always better than the second season, and I'm assuming you've both seen his press conference recently where he's like, "Someone said to me that they often kill the main character off. I should have thought about that." He's just,
I think I sent that to you.
you might well have done. I've had a lot of
Yeah.
stuff sent to me since Spurs won the Europa League. Funnily enough, some of it's been really funny. There's been some absolutely brilliant bits and pieces sent through to me. But
You
yeah,
have you seen what's been going on with Talksport in the last couple of days?
I mean,
you listen to
I
TalkSport?
listen to Talksport all the time. I know Jamie
So
O'Hara has been.
Well, they were discussing the other day, like discussing Arsenal and how they've done this season, and they said like, how far do you think Arsenal are away from a European trophy? And then someone rang up and said 4 miles.
Yeah, no, well done. Well, actually, that's wrong. That's wrong because we won the Champions League final on Saturday, which
Who'd you play in the semi-finals?
yeah, it's
Without
Leon.
googling it.
It was Leon. We played Leon.
All right. What about the quarterfinals?
Can't remember.
Who plays in the back four for the women's Arsenal
Hang
team?
on.
Trip.
Look, I can play. Look, whoa. Back off. You lot played Bozo Glint in the semi-final.
Right, okay.
Name me
If you're
2
gonna play
players.
like that-
Name me 2 players. Just name me 2 players. Bozo Glint.
Why would I care about Bozo Glint players when I'm a Tottenham fan?
It's the
Well,
same
Isaac's
thing.
I'm talking about who you played. Like I know who we played. I'm not talking about
Arsenal.
I wouldn't ask you to name
Arsenal women.
I wouldn't even ask you to name the women's squad. To be honest,
Arsenal women, right? Just to show how much of a because this is not me taking a piss. It is a massive achievement because they played both Lyon and Barcelona. Now, for the last 8 years in the Champions League, there are only 2 teams that have won the Champions League, and it's Lyon and Barcelona. For the last 8 years,
all right.
both those
Can I
teams,
just
and we
say-
played both of them.
If you're going off that mentality, then we've got more League Cups than you in the last 5 years.
Okay.
Because the under 17s and under 21s absolutely
Under
smashed it last season.
17s and under 21s. Oh, hang on. Look, if we.
Yeah, but no, you can't.
It's a
like,
different
jump to, like,
level.
oh, I now watch the women's football team
But
and
you-
like
no.
all this sort of thing. Like,
Look, it's been a massive achievement. It is a massive, and I know it has pissed on your fireworks a little bit, but it does not
Not really.
take away. It does, yeah, exactly. It doesn't take away from
doesn't even
the
look like a Champions
achievement.
League trophy.
It does not. I'm just going to ignore you. It doesn't take away from the achievement that Spurs have done. It's been 17 years, and it was all or nothing. The pressure on that game, I do think Spurs lost, it wouldn't. Obviously, it'd be a big deal, but it wouldn't have been as big a deal for Spurs as it is for Man United because Spurs
I think
got into their position because of massive injuries, and I'm going to blame Ange and his high line and not changing his tactics up when he didn't have the players. So it was Ange's fault, and it was the fact you had a lot of injuries. Man United are just a total mess. So I think it's a bigger problem for them not winning it.
I think United went into that game as the favourites as well, because purely for the fact, and I've said this to you before, like they turn up in finals. They always have. Like
Yeah,
Casemiro, Fernandez always generally turn up in finals.
they didn't in that
Or
final.
Jamie, yeah, from
They were awful.
Jamie Carragher, like Gary Neville, they're all saying United are going to win it because they've got that final mentality. And yeah. What a shit show.
It was a really genuinely it was probably the worst final I've ever watched. I
just
mean,
don't understand as a manager why you would not start players like Garnacho
because he's
like
fallen out with him. He's fallen out
Euro
with him. You've heard he's told him to leave, yeah? He's
Half the squad today.
yeah, I think
Banana, Garnacho.
it's
I
yeah.
know he's got an attitude problem, but I'd take Garnacho at Spurs.
Yeah, I think he might. Chelsea a sniff round him as well. I wouldn't be surprised. I think Spurs. So let's talk about you've got a kitty of money now, and I've asked you this before. I've asked both of you this before. Where
That's
would
all
you
gone.
want? Where would you want to strengthen? Who do you want to get?
All the money's gone. Brennan Johnson spent it on a bar tab.
Yeah.
Mate, I was so shocked to see him in the starting lineup today.
Yeah. Gone positions and players. What do you think?
Definitely someone on the left that's ready.
100%.
Sorry, guys.
I've got a name.
Um,
I've got a name for that
Okay.
one. I'm thinking
on.
Grealish.
No.
No,
I don't know.
I
He's what,
don't
20? He's
know.
29 now, isn't he?
is he? He
I think
can
he's 30 now.
I
See,
think I would
wow.
take Garnacho on the left over than
you
Gents United. That final, as soon as he came on,
oh yeah, dangerous.
I spent the last 15 minutes shitting my pants. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely, like. He looked up for it. That's probably the only player that come on that did look up for it, to be honest. But
Yeah, and I can't imagine how much is he going to be worth now. You're going to have to pay a tax because you're a Premier League team, but 50 mil?
I think cheaper. I think the situation Manchester United are in, they literally don't have a pot to piss in.
Yeah.
And I think 100 mil, get Garnacho and get Manu in. I'd take them both.
Really?
yeah,
You know, you're weakening a direct rival. Yeah, I think we need a bit more creative in midfield as well, but I think Manu is a good, solid addition to that young midfield that we've got. Like a future midfield three of Manu, Bergval and Gray could be quite promising going forward. We've got a few older players there to work off, who a few of them might not be there next season, but yeah, I would take Holland. But I think right wing, I think I've said to you guys, Brian Mbeumo from Brentford, I think would be perfect. Move Johnson out to the left. I think that's a good front three to go into the Champions League with a bit of reinforcements as well.
So you wouldn't get a striker? You're happy with the striker that you've got?
I like Solanke. I do. I think he works hard, and I think if you're going to go play two very attacking wingers who are going to score goals, he's our Kai Havertz. That tricky.
Yeah.
He works his ass off. He was dead on his feet in that cup final. He literally couldn't run to that pass that Udogie played through for him to make it 2-0. He was done. He worked his ass off, and I like that in a player. We have some young strikers that could possibly play second fiddle to him, like Alejo Veliz and Dane Scarlett. I think promising young strikers.
Who's the nippy you got on the left?
Odebear.
No, like Mickey. No,
Mikey Moore.
Oh, Mickey Moore, yeah.
Mickey Moore. Is he going to be playing next season? Do you think?
He's still only 17, isn't he?
Is
Yeah, he's just a kid. Yeah,
He's too young. Okay. All right.
I mean, I
Okay.
think Bergville's pushing it at 18, but he's played a lot of minutes this season. But I think he's sort of, I know he's only like a year older, but his sort of, you can see his mentality in the games a lot. It's a lot. He's got a lot more older brain. in him.
What
He's sort of like
what are your expectations for next season?
not get relegated.
Jesus, who knows? It could go anywhere, couldn't it? Like, especially Champions League football is gonna affect league form, like Europa League has this season. Who knows where it's gonna go?
I'm struggling because I'm not being funny. It ain't a top four. There's no way. There's no way. Is there? Tell me. I just can't see it.
I think it's harder now because you've got teams like, I don't know how Nottingham Forest are going to do next year because I've got a feeling
They'll
a few of their
struggle.
players will get bought. Yeah. But you've got the likes of Aston Villa and Newcastle pushing up now. So I think the top 6 to 8 is going to be trickier. If that makes sense.
So are we saying, and this is not a dig, this is not a white, are we saying top half of the table and you'll be happy?
Yeah, I think so. Like a decent Champions League run. I'm not saying we're going to win the Champions League, but also take into account there's going to be 10 English teams playing in Europe next season. That's 10 teams playing midweek and at the weekend. It's going to be a weird season next season. I mean, Man U might win the title because the only one's not playing in fucking Europe.
That's not going to happen, is it? That is not.
No, it's not.
What happens if? Sorry, what happens if Chelsea win the conference next week?
There's another.
That'll make it 10.
Yeah.
That'll make it 10.
Oh,
so it's 9 currently.
Okay, so next person down will drop.
If Chelsea win, Brighton.
So it'd be
Brighton,
Brighton, would it? Hang on a second. I'm
Brighton.
going to have a look at the table.
Yeah, Brighton in 8th.
So sorry, a Bournemouth in Europe now?
No.
Position of this 7th.
No, I don't think
Ninth.
they are. It's Forest, isn't it? Forest.
Forest
are
is 7th.
How do you get to 10
Europa
then?
League.
At the moment,
So-
all I can see
Forest, the
is
Conference League.
You've got Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Chelsea, Newcastle, and Tottenham in Champions League. And at the moment, as
6
it
English
stands,
teams.
Europa is Aston
Villa.
Villa and Crystal Palace, and Nottingham
Ah.
Forest will have conference, I think.
So that's 7.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then let's say Chelsea win the final. One other thing, quickly, why the fuck is the Conference League after the Europa League?
I don't
Despite
care
it,
about
no
the
one gives a
stick.
shit about the football. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I
Stick
just-
it midweek. No one watches it. The viewing numbers for it are appalling, Trick.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to watch it, but I don't understand why. Surely there should be a tier system to this. You know what I mean?
It's like the starter before the main course, the Europa League, mate. You watch it on the Wednesday, then you watch your Champions League final on Saturday. Are you going to watch a Champions League final out of interest, Trick? Because you didn't quite make it over the line.
I probably will watch it. I've got a friend of mine who is Italian and he's an Inter Milan fan. So I probably will be watching it. I watch them. I watch them anyway. I can't help myself. Normally they're free on YouTube as well, and for some reason the picture quality on YouTube is like 10 out of 10. So I probably yes, I'm gonna watch it. So hang on, just going back to Forest. How do you get 10? I don't think there is 10. There can't be.
I can work out 9.
6 Champions League teams, 2 Europa League teams, and possibly 2 Conference League teams. So that's 9.
So that would
Can't remember
mean
where the other one comes from.
so that would mean Brighton would get it. So Bournemouth can't get it. Yeah, okay. So when
Yeah.
you said
Yeah.
10 teams, I just instantly looked at top 10, not remembering that Spurs.
No, it's a
Spurs are
winning,
17th.
Palace.
My phone doesn't go that far down, unfortunately. But so another thing that I did chuckle at, and you're not going to like this, but it did make me laugh a lot, that you are officially the worst ever team to win the Europa League. Which
What a
is,
trophy.
It's quite something. It's quite something. No, not a trophy. That's Wigan because they got relegated and won the FA Cup, didn't they?
Oh, okay.
So yeah, give them that. Give them that at least. But yeah, for the Europa League, it's quite a stat, and it's just a bizarre season. And I as much as I love him, I do blame Ange for he just didn't take it seriously. He went, "I'm playing my way." It's like, yeah, but you're getting battered, mate.
Well, it came out the other day, didn't it? That apparently he said, I didn't actually hear him say it, but in one of the interviews he said that he actually gave up on the league in January.
Nah, see, he's used that as an excuse. He has used that as there's no way he did not give up, and if he did, he should be sacked right now. That's not true. He's probably said that in
Romero,
hindsight.
Van de Ven, and Vicario didn't get back till end of February, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you did. There wasn't a massive uptick. You know, the results were still not going your way even when they did come back. Although Van de Ven, and we've said before that Van de Ven is a really good player, and in that final, absolute hero.
He's quick, and it's not just that; it's his brain for defending. Like,
Yeah.
I honestly don't think there's a lot of defenders that would have got to that ball. And just hear me out, right?
Go on.
So, as the moment Højlund headed the ball, Van de Ven was about 4 to 6 yards away from it, like the goal line. So not only did his speed get him there, but as soon as the ball left Vicario's head, sorry, because it bounced off his head, you could see Van de Ven's looking at the goal, knowing, from a defender's point of view, you're thinking, well, that ball's going back out. My goalie's not on the line. I need to get back there. So he's already thought about that. His speed's got him back there. And not only that, like getting his leg up that high, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I could hear his hamstring screaming. I was like, "Oh, he's done his hamstring again." That's your only worry next season. Is he's a great player, but he is
All I
injury
could hear
prone.
was like Deadpool's voice in the background going, "Worth it."
He is very injury prone, and that is going to be a problem going forward. And I
Yeah.
think that would be, if you were going to get rid of him, it would be because of injuries. You just had enough of it at some point. It is
Yeah,
worrying.
I
Partly
think I said to you
again,
before.
go on.
Sorry, go on.
Well, partly because of maybe Ange's tactics. It doesn't help things. The high line and
I somewhat agree. The high line doesn't help, but this is like across all the teams now because there's been a lot of hamstring and like injuries and stuff like that throughout football, not just Tottenham. It's the stop starting of the games doesn't help.
well, VAR. Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
players are getting injuries off the back of. I mean, refereeing. There was obviously today the Aston Villa just fuming. Anyway, don't let's not get started about refereeing because the refereeing in the Europa League final actually wasn't that bad. It wasn't. It wasn't that bad. There wasn't an awful
Well,
lot going on.
there's a lot of Man United fans saying that Tottenham bought the referee, but I don't really see that, to be honest.
No, look, it was an awful final. And there was a lot of rolling around. It was just, yeah, just a bit of
I
a
think my
joke.
favourite bit was when
The final whistle
Fernandes. I
went.
can't remember what top. Well, yeah, that as well.
Yeah,
But like when Fernandes jumped up to header a ball, and I can't remember what Tottenham player it was, but he jumped at the same. I think it was like Udogi or someone, and they jumped up at the same time. Didn't even touch him. He headed the ball like on this side of his head,
mm.
and then went to the ground holding his head as if he'd been headbutted, like and rolling around for 5 minutes. It's like,
Well, look,
you've literally just headed the ball, mate, and you're holding your head where you headed it, and now you're saying someone headbutted you.
that tactic didn't work, did it? They were time wasting when they were 1-0 down, which I just did not get at all. It's like have a look at have a look at the scoreboard, work it out. What do you guys think of your goalkeeper? Because I personally don't think he's good enough.
I've said to you before, he makes me nervous.
Yeah,
Like
He can't deal with crosses, which is a problem for a goalkeeper.
yeah.
crosses, corners, free kicks.
just balls in general, I think.
I
Ball at
don't
the
think
foot.
they're not. They won't replace him next season. I think he's safe for a season. But do you think the season after that, it's gonna have to? If he has the same kind of season he has, not just this season, but the season before, he wasn't that great. Obviously, you've got Kinksky now, who is not going to take his place. He's bloody awful. Uh, do you think you're gonna put your hand in your pocket for a goalkeeper? Not next season, the season after.
Can I just quick say it looks like it's going to be a bit of a goalkeeper merry-go-round this season. Like Martinez is on his way from Villa, isn't he? Who knows where he's going?
Yeah,
David Ray's linked with Real Madrid. Is it Barcelona or Real are linked with Ray at the moment, Trick, which is
fuck
a bit
me.
concerning for you.
He ain't going nowhere. Don't you worry about
I
that.
mean, you say that, but if Real Madrid or Barcelona come calling, players tend to leave and go there.
We're the
We
Arsenal.
Arsenal players have went to Barcelona
We're the Arsenal, mate.
over the years.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Even,
I hear
even
Ramsdale might be
Thierry
free.
Henry.
I tell you what, Ramsdale, and I keep on saying this: Ramsdale to Man United or Chelsea.
I could see
I'd
probably
take
Man
him.
United more.
Yeah. Would you take Ramsdale?
I would.
Yeah, because I still think he's really good.
He's had a rough ride of it since that breakthrough season at Arsenal when they kind of discarded him and brought Ray in. And playing for Southampton can't have been fun for last year because
No.
they conceded a lot of shots. Hasn't he got the best save
Yeah,
ratio
he's
in the league
made.
because he saves about 1,000 shots?
Yeah, he's made a lot. He's up in the statistics wise. He's great. And one thing I would say is Everton bought Jordan Pickford for the exact same reason. They got when he was at Sunderland, and they were like, "Let's get him because he's busy." And he's for Everton he has actually been great. Um, I,
Yes.
I kind of feel as if Aaron Ramsdale would be a clever signing for anyone.
I do feel sorry for Ramsdale, and I've said this to you before. Like, off the back of an amazing season, and then he gets dropped for Raya, and then he gets put in a Southampton team, and it doesn't matter how good a goalkeeper you are.
Oh yeah,
If
no,
your
I
front
know.
four,
Yeah.
if the four people in front of you are letting people past them, and you're getting shot upon shot upon shot, it's going to make you look shit. But
It's rough. It is rough. I don't think. I think he's going to get a move. He will get a move. He's not going to stay at Southampton. Arteta's ruthless. There was bits in Ramsdale that he didn't like. He went for Raya, who was this guy, and David Raya has just won a consecutive Golden Glove. So you can't argue it. Unfortunately, as unfair as it feels, because
It's a
even the
break.
Arsenal fans were like, "Ooh, hang on a second. Ramsdale's brilliant." Um, you can't really argue it. So it is what it is. But I do think if Spurs were clever, I'd get in there and get Ramsdale. I do think Man United. I do think Man United or Chelsea, maybe
he won't
maybe
move.
even
He won't
Aston,
move to Spurs.
maybe even Aston Villa. He might not go to Spurs. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point.
No,
But
not he won't move to Spurs.
no,
I don't reckon he would. No.
no. Maybe Aston Villa if they're getting rid of Martinez. Where do they go?
Sure.
I,
They can probably aim higher though. Well, maybe not so now. They didn't qualify for the Champions League.
I
That
think
might be the kind of caliber player they need to get in.
I think he's good. I think he's I do think he's good value. And he's a quality goal. Like he said, when he left Arsenal, we were all like, what the fuck's going on?" Because he was great. It wasn't like, oh, he oh, he can't do corners or he's not good with his feet or anything like that. I thought he was great. So yeah, hopefully, I want him to get a big move, even if it was Man United, because that goalkeeper,
But he
Jesus
said a big
Christ.
move.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a good point. That
Relegation
goalkeeper,
candidates Manchester United.
Onana, I I mean, are they stuck with him? Are they gonna be able to get rid of him?
Got Saudi.
Do you think he'd go to Saudi?
Yeah, I do. I'm sure someone was interested for a 40 million for him. You take the hand off for 40 million for Onana,
Mm.
right?
But I'm hearing loads of weird stories about Saudi. I'm hearing Fernandez for 100 to 120 million. Why would you
Yeah,
get
I heard that one as well.
why would you get Bruno Fernandez for that much money when Kevin De Bruyne is going on a free?
But Napoli, De Bruyne, isn't he?
Well, yes, he is now, but they could have got in there. They could have got in there and got that done, but they're going for Bruno for that much money because he's 31, so he's only what, a year younger than Kevin De Bruyne. I don't know, I don't get it, but if Man United could get 120 million for Bruno, I think you got to sell him.
The thing is, they've got to hold out because I think last I read before the European final, I think it said somewhere that United have 100 million they can spend, and then after that they have to sell players.
Yeah,
But the funny thing is, they made 5 million from getting to the final of the Europa final,
I know what you're saying.
but then
yeah.
they have to give 3.5 million of that to Chelsea for Mason Mount.
Yeah. It is nuts. And to attract big players is going to be difficult now for Man United because obviously they have to bring their own packed lunch now because they've sat the dinner lady. I don't know how that's going to go down too well. Honestly, the cost
Mate,
cut.
I actually watched some of that interview the other day with Gary Neville and Ratcliffe.
Oh, the one
And
that's a few months
blows my
ago.
mind. Yeah, I've been watching bits of it, and it blows my mind how that bloke actually thinks. Because there was a part of the interview where Gary Neville talked about like United Legends. They have like a kitty to
Yeah.
help fund United Legends and stuff like that.
He got
And they
rid of
said
it.
they cut it by 40 grand. And then Gary Neville turned around and said, "Well, why didn't you get like Harry Maguire or Bruno Fernandes to do like a charity meal thing, sell tickets for that and raise 50, 60, 70,000 for that and then pay it?" And he turned around and goes, "Well, I didn't think of that. No one brought it to my attention." And this
Honestly,
bloke's in charge of a football club. Like,
they've got a massive problem with their owners because none of them are any good. Absolutely
I
none of
saw
them.
today that they're apparently going to be making another 200 redundancies as well.
Yeah, that
We think they're downplaying the problems that Man U are currently about to face. Like, you talk about the owner there, Trick. He came out recently and said because they also own Nice in French League One.
yeah.
Said there's no money in owning Nice, so they're trying to sell them. They've just qualified for the Champions League Nice yesterday.
Yeah.
Just get your guys' opinions. Do you think Manchester United could be the next like Leeds United? Big team, dominated, and now they have no money, terribly ran, and stupid purchases. Could they go the way of someone like Leeds if they got relegated and just drop down divisions and never regain the superpower that they once were?
I think they're closer to relegation than winning the league. I mean, literally this season, obviously, but let's say starting afresh next season. Right now, they are closer to being relegated than being, winners of the Premier League.
It's all very well saying like a lot of people saying they're going to start afresh and all that sort of thing, but they haven't got the money to completely start afresh. They're going to have to. I don't know.
And they're not smart
You
with their
said,
money.
Rich, you said like they've got £100 million budget. By all accounts, 50 million that's just gone on Matheus Cunha from Wolves, and the
Yeah.
other 30 million is going to go on Liam Delap from Ipswich. So that leaves them 20 million to spend. Like, that's 2 attacking players. Your entire team needs a revamp. But
Yeah.
Amorim, when he joined Sporting, actually sold like 13 players in his first transfer window and did reshape the squad to like obviously they're decent now Sporting. So he has got president, but Portuguese league and the Premier League are very, very different beasts, aren't they?
You got to remember as well, he is not buying these players. He will have a say in who he wants, but it's down to the Man United technicals who they end up buying, and there will be elements of, and they'll be thinking like this: who's going to sell T-shirts? That's how they think.
You know what they'll do, don't you? They'll probably buy bloody McTominay back for 80 million.
I said that.
He wouldn't go, would he?
No, probably not.
He's absolutely he's loved it at Napoli. He's just won Serie A Player of the Year, hasn't he? They'll love
in
it.
his first
Scored
season.
in the final game. Yeah, incredible stuff from him.
Look at Anthony as well. Like, he's doing well.
Yeah. It is. It's bonkers. It is genuinely. It's bonkers. I just they're in serious trouble. But
Did you see that Anthony's Instagram the other day?
yeah, where he said
He put a picture up. He was
"And I'm
after
the
the Europa League
problem."
final. Yeah, he put an "I'm the problem" with little laughy faces on it. Like,
Is it Betis?
Fair play to him.
Is it
Yeah, Betis.
Is it Betis that's in the the Conference League final?
yeah, they're
Yeah.
playing. Yeah, so he
Oh.
would play in Chelsea.
Jesus, could you
Next week.
imagine?
Imagine
Could you imagine?
winning goal.
Oh my god. Yeah, that is serious. That's
Chelsea are no great chicks though, are they? They're very inconsistent. It could happen.
you never know. Yeah, you never know. How do you guys ignoring Spurs' form? Let's just the Premier League as a whole. How do you feel this Premier League season has gone?
It's been weird, isn't it?
I
I mean, the only positive this season, I would say for me, is not seeing Man City win the league. Also, someone else winning the Carabao Cup, someone else winning the FA Cup, someone else winning Europa. Like, it's
cups wise,
been a good
brilliant.
season for like underdogs. Like, it's
Cups wise, it's been brilliant. As for the Premier League, it's been bang average. It has been absolutely bang average. We've known pretty much from the start of the season who's going to get relegated. Let's face it, we've known who's going to be getting relegated since what, October?
Yep.
I think that's fair. And there's always, it's great having on the final day who's gonna get top four. Let's have a look at relegation. Who's going to get relegated? And I've said this before. If the bottom 3 teams had made more of a game of it, Ange would have been sacked 100%. If there was the jeopardy of we're actually going to get relegated here, he'd have been sacked around Christmas time.
I think this season, especially since January, February time, I think it's the season's been all about the Champions League places. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, because it's been so close, the top sort of, not recently, but like even up to 10th place a couple of months ago, like it's been really close for the Champions League spots. Because you think a couple of months ago, Bournemouth were in it as well.
Yeah,
Like,
and Forest. I'm gutted for both Bournemouth and Forest. They just dropped off towards the end, didn't they? Bournemouth slightly earlier than Forest, but they both did just completely drop off, which is really disappointing because I was genuinely really excited for both of them to get into Europe.
it's mad to think though. Like you look at the table, and Man City went on a 10-game losing streak.
Yeah,
Like well, they didn't win not so much a losing streak, sorry, but they didn't win a game for 10 games.
yeah.
Yet they still finished third.
Yeah, it's because they spent about £150 million in
Oh,
January.
yeah,
That's what's done it. I think he's going to spend a bit more, but he doesn't want too big a squad. He was saying he wants a small squad, so you just got to hope for injuries.
Yeah.
But yeah,
any news on this bloody 130 charges?
oh, I
Or is
don't
that just
know. I just don't
background?
know what is happening with that. Ian, do you know anything on that?
It's all very quiet, isn't it? They're going to bottle it, have any
I,
effect on them.
I
They'll
think
just give them a little fine and that'll be it.
I think what City are doing is they are going through legal loopholes and they're just delaying it as far as they can, just so they can get another season, another season, another season. And at some point, who knows, they may get relegated or something, but they will get as much Premier League time as possible before that happens. Do you know what I mean? This could go on for another couple of years. It's just so frustrating.
I think they will just. It's one of those annoying things. Like I think they'll just end up with a bloody fine. Really annoyingly,
which is
And
pointless.
It's one of those situations though. Like if the Premier League don't come down hard on them, then it's going to make the Premier League look like a joke.
Yeah, I think Chelsea have gotten away with a bit too much as well. To be honest with you,
yeah,
I think they sell their women's team to themselves or something to make the something
That's
crazy.
shady, isn't it?
And then they'll just stack points on who got, was it Forest, Everton. They're all getting points for. Everton was just because of their new stadium. They went a bit over and they got stung with points straight away. Yet the likes of City.
Well, that was the whole. There was a 20 million shortfall, wasn't there? And they blamed it on Spurs because they said we didn't pay enough for Richarlison at the time.
Yeah.
They said no. Honestly, they turned around. They said because it was a season when we just brought Richarlison, and obviously Dele Alli was playing for Everton. And there was a clause in Dele Alli's contract that said if he made 20 appearances, they had to pay Tottenham 10 million. That's why Dele Alli didn't feature much at the end of that season.
Yeah.
And then they turned around and said they wanted 80 million, 80 for Richarlison, and Tottenham only paid 60 million. So it screwed over their FFP.
Mm.
And it's like, and you reckon we'd probably like 60 million for Richarlison? I mean, I think we haven't paid for him.
Do you think Richarlison? Do you think Richarlison's gone now?
Do you know what?
Here we go.
I'm not his biggest fan.
He's
I'm
played
not his
one
biggest
final.
Fan. No. Because I've heard Everton want him back, and I think he needs to go somewhere where he's going to play regularly. I'm not his biggest fan, but it's got for me, Richarlison. Like whenever he came on, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, not him again. But it got to the point, it was that bad. I even said this to Shah, and I said, he's like when you go to watch your kid play Sunday League football, and there's always that one child that isn't any good, but makes the effort, and you're just like, oh, bless him, at least he's trying. And that's how I feel about Richarlison. But like, until his legs went in the final, I'll tell you what, he put a shift in that final.
Yeah, he did play very well. But yeah, I don't think he's good enough. I do think he's one that's got to go. I personally think your goalkeeper's got to go. And I think you need to change your striker. I do. I know you're very attached. It's like, oh no. But you've got the same problem as Arsenal. It's all well and good. You've got a lot of hard workers up front. At the end of the day, you need someone who's going to put the ball in the back of the net. And he's not it. Son's not it anymore. And neither's Brennan Johnson.
I think we need a replacement for Son, definitely. Like, he'll be sort of like an impact. Like, I mean, he's got his legend status now, and
Yeah.
I think he's done enough for the club, like in 10 years, and
Does he get a statue?
he's
Ian, you put your nose up then.
I would give him one personally.
You would.
Games he's played, what he's contributed to the team, how much it mattered to him that we actually won a title. Like he didn't bail like I say another Spurs legend.
Yeah,
Go win titles. He stayed and won a title of us.
Don't call him a legend. I do for a little part of me does think to myself, old Levy, just from the point of view of we put a statue up, we're still going to get all these Koreans turn up and buy stuff in the shop.
No, this is why we bought that 18-year-old who was the A-League thingy, because it's the Korean, isn't it?
Yeah, they're making a lot of money.
Where did he go to? He
QPR,
was on loan money last season.
Shoots QPR.
Yeah.
Don't think he's played much.
But I think he's only been bought to keep the Korean fan base happy, I think.
Yeah, I kind of feel as if maybe a Son statue, maybe next to a Big Ange I mean, I've been saying since around January time, Big Ange.
Golden hands.
He deserved a statue. I've been I've been banging the drum for that guy. I think he's statue worthy. You know, it's just who we are, mate. Brilliant. That's what you need. Quality. But yeah, I think
he's right. He is right though. Everyone has laughed at him all fucking season.
Yeah, they have,
and he's delivered.
Yeah, exactly. And he can now give it the old two fingers. I just don't feel like he did it enough on final day.
If I was Ange, I think I said this to you, didn't I? If I was Ange, I would have gone into that presser with the trophy. I'd have been like, slammed it down on the counter, gone, told you I could do it. I quit. And just fucking walk off. Like.
But he's been getting.
It would have been one of the greatest moments in football that if he'd have actually done it.
Up there with like Kevin
We'd
Keegan.
never forgot it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It would have been incredible.
Yeah. He has been getting pelters for months and months and months. And I have felt sorry for him because he's a very likable bloke. But, you know, they call him a clown and stuff like that. And it is out of order. What gives these journos the right to sort of talk to him like shit?
That's the thing, though. It's the whole thing about the journalism stuff, like, because that whole interview the other day where he said, "I'm not a clown." Again, that was taken out of context. Like, everyone was saying, "Oh, he's like saying all this thing," but what they didn't mention was the bloke who asked him the question about the article that he wrote about him, calling him a clown. That's the only reason he said it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's get the 13th of August out of the way first, eh?
Is that the Super Cup, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you're going to be looking at the final on Saturday, thinking who are we going to end up playing, yeah?
I think Inter Milan will win it.
PSG just looks so good. I don't know.
Italians,
you are not going to beat whoever wins that. I mean, that would be.
I just said I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm not. But both of those teams are worthy Champions League finalists. People have been banging on about PSG since the knockout round started because that's when they really switched it on, and they've been, they've knocked out. They knocked out Liverpool, Aston Villa, us. Definitely deserve to be there. That they have not had an easy run of it. And Inter Milan, that game against Barcelona. Did you watch it?
Yeah, but again, you say
both
this.
legs.
Yeah, I watched it, but you say like PSG knocked out like yourselves, Liverpool, and they're worthy winners. Like the way they played against Barcelona, mate, was they were up for that game. So I don't know if they can put a shift in like they did against Barcelona against PSG. I think it'd be close.
PSG win comfortably, personally. Looking up into his team and how their seasons ended, they're tiring. They've got an age inside. I think that young attacking PSG side. It might be 3-4. I think.
Oh, really?
I really do. Yeah, I think Mkhitaryan in midfield with is the other old bastard in midfield, former Premier League. Can't remember, but anyway, they've got an aging squad, and I just think you've got like Vitinha and like Fabian Ruiz and João Neves in midfield against those old players. I think they're going to have a field day against them.
I tell you
It
what,
could be like an all-time.
Or those aging players could think this is our last chance to win it.
Çalhanoğlu, that's the other one, yeah, in the 30s. I mean, that could be it as well. You never know in a final, do you, what's going to happen? Clearly, what happened recently. Even we won a title. Palace win a title. I think it was more stress in the Palace final than was the Spurs final.
That was. I'm glad you mentioned the FA Cup final because I watched that. Did you watch it, Rich?
I watched a lot of it. I didn't, because we went out for a family meal, like a family birthday meal, and it was on in the background at the place we were at. So I was having conversations during a meal and sort of like doing that as well, like trying to look at the game. But I missed like the certain bits where apparently he handballed it. That was like the boxing stuff, and I missed that, and everyone's going on about it afterwards. Like, what? Oh, bloody hell! Yeah. But no, I did. I think I saw the last little bit of it where they were literally holding on.
Right. I was kicking every ball.
Red card, wasn't it, Tricky?
Oh, it was a red card. It was a red card, but it was against
City.
City,
isn't it? Who cares?
Who cares? Exactly. I was kicking every ball with them, every bit of time wasting. I was cheering on. I just thought it was great. And to see Palace actually win it, that's what football. That's what the FA Cup's about. It gave a bit of magic to the FA Cup, and I do think that they need to get back to the FA Cup being the only fixture on the weekend. Do you know what I mean? Because the following day there were Premier League games again, and I don't know that it used to be just the FA Cup, and like it was all day. They did the build up, the history about the FA Cup, and all that. They don't do it no more.
Going back to a previous conversation, like that's someone I'd love to see at the Spurs shirt, Eze.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Can I ask you, Rich, on that same subject? How many of those Palace players were you taking spares? Because I think there's 4 or 5 of their players walking to our team currently. I mean, Mark Weahy, Daniel Munoz, Eberechi Eze. I take Mateta. I take Adam Wharton in midfield. They've got a solid squad, Palace. They could really kick on.
There's a defender I quite like as well, French lad. I can't remember his name, but he's
Maxence Lacroix. Very, very good.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah. They got a lot of good players, and they had a crap start to the season, but they've picked right on up, and
thanks to Spurs.
Spurs.
But yeah, we were the first. They were the first league win.
Yeah, but they didn't win a game until they played us.
There we go. Dr. Tottenham strikes again.
Cashed in the Spurs ticket they did, like every fucker else did this season.
Yeah, I've got to say, there are a lot of teams that got 6 points off of you this season, weren't there? There's most of the. In fact, who did you actually win against?
United 4 times.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you won against United 4 times. That is about it. I think you won against Brentford as well, didn't you?
City at the Etihad 4-0.
Yeah, I do remember that one as well. Yeah, that was that was part of their deep depression, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think just before that we beat them in the League Cup, didn't we? 2-1 as well.
Yeah.
Trying to think of games we've won now.
Hard to remember, isn't it? Because I just remember the really low moments of the UEFA Cup. That's it. UEFA Cup.
Oh, Southampton.
Yay.
Yeah, that's an achievement.
I think we won one against Ipswich and lost one against Ipswich.
We lost to Leicester as well, didn't we? Did we win one and lose one to Leicester?
We beat Everton at the beginning of the season 4-0. Yeah. So I'm getting a bit blurry now. I can't.
Yeah, it's
did we beat West Ham earlier in the season? I can't remember.
Right?
I think we beat West Ham as well this season.
I think so.
Another team that's had a stinker season, haven't they? West Ham. Tricky, obviously your dad supports West Ham. How's he feeling about West Ham this season?
I've not spoken to him for a little bit, but he was at Ipswich today and they won 3-1. So I'm guessing he's still following them. He's still absolutely die hard. He just thinks there's no legs in midfield. We went to go watch West Ham Bournemouth, but everyone was on the beach. Basically, it just seemed to be. There's something weird going on with Paqueta as well. I don't know what the deal is with him, but he obviously had the betting issues, and he's still looking at a possible ban, and they don't know how long that's going to be. But today he was away when everyone was celebrating. He was away from the rest of the team, just clapping by himself, and people are reading quite a lot into that. I don't know what's happening with him. They need to keep hold of Bowen. They need to do everything they can to keep hold of him.
I don't think Bo won't leave, will he?
I don't think his
I think his
father-in-law
father-in-law would beat the crap out of him.
he
if
would
he
beat
left.
the crap out of him. Have you heard him, Danny Dyer, talk about Jared Bowen?
Yeah.
I think he's his son.
It's the funniest
Isn't it,
thing.
like-
He said,
Did you see the interview with Jonathan Ross that he did?
Is that the
And
one?
He said he feels sorry for his other daughter. 'Cause
Yes!
He could bring home like a
heart
brain
surgeon.
or
Yeah.
or a heart surgeon or like a
Not asked.
Yeah, and he goes, but no one compared to.
No, I think he said no one loves that boy more than I do. It's
Yeah.
just brilliant. It is brilliant. I often look at those Danny Dyer quotes about Jared Bowen because it's so funny and it's so honest as well. He's like, no one could love him more than I do. There's just
Thing
no
is, you know
way.
as well, if his daughter ever tried to get divorced to Jared Bowen, you know his side Danny Dyer would be on.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I think that's it. Like you said, Danny Dyer has, not that it's anything to do with Danny Dyer, but he has said, look, it's Jared's career and rah rah rah, but I'd love him to stay at West Ham. I do think there's a lot of peer pressure there to stay at West Ham. What he's got to look at is they offered Declan Rice 200 grand a week to stay. That's what he should be getting because he's up there. He's definitely up there.
He's like their main player though, isn't he? Like yeah.
He's definitely quality, and I feel as if he could play. What's his level? Where could he realistically be playing? Spurs, yeah.
I'd take him definitely for that right wing position, but he's never joining Spurs. Is he?
No, he's not. He's not. But he could play at Spurs. I think. Just trying to think where else he could sort of go. That Aston Villa.
Probably going to buy Asensio though, aren't the full time?
Are they going to buy
really
him?
well for them? I would think so.
What are they doing about Rashford as well? Is he staying or is he going?
Rashford wants to go to Barca, doesn't he?
Oh yeah.
Honestly, he's deluded. Have you ever seen him? I often, because I watch a lot of TikTok, as does Rich. Funnily enough, I see clips of Rashford turning up at like things like boxing events. Have you seen how this fucker dresses? And you can't criticize him. He wears what he wants to wear, but he's got these big chains and like a fur coat, and he's walking in with his glasses in the middle, sunglasses in the middle of the night, and it's like, mate, just behave yourself. I literally think he's lost touch with reality.
I think some people get a bit too big, don't they?
And I think that might be his problem. I honestly feel like that could be his problem because he can do it.
On his day, definitely.
Yeah.
On his day, I'd take him at Spurs personally. I think he's a good option off that left wing. He can play a few different positions.
I don't think you want that ego though.
I'm not, but he hasn't showed that at Villa, has he? I think Man U is so rotten to the core. Changes players.
Yeah.
See them go and they just have the time of their life, don't they, once they've gone.
I don't think that Cunha thing is going to go well. I think he'll do the business on the. He's a great player. He's undoubtedly a great player. But I think
Man United are also good at ruining good players.
There is that, but I think he is temperamental and he's going into a dressing room full of divas. And I just think it's a recipe for disaster. They haven't learned their lesson. They're sort of buying the same players again. We'll see. But was he £62 million his release clause is?
it's nuts that it's not that's not value for money as far as I'm concerned.
No.
He's proven himself a good low end Premier League player. He scores goals. But yeah, like I said, he has moments that cost his team. And Man U have got a lot of them already.
Yeah, you know,
Talking,
he gets
I
a
was
few
going to say,
red
talking
cards.
about release clauses, I'd like to hear Ian's thoughts on Mathis Tell.
Oh, it's a funny one, Mathis. I think he's coming to a squad there that could possibly make him look like a well beater because his competition is Richarlison and Timo Werner. And he hasn't really done it, but I've seen him play in the German league. But German league's really open. Like we would probably score goals put up front for Bayern, the three of us. Like I don't know. I wouldn't buy him full time.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like to see him being bought, especially the amount of money they're asking for him, 60 million or something, isn't it?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's like Xerxes levels of stupid money for a young player. That like, I don't think Levy is nowhere near stupid enough to make that deal. Was Danzo permanent, or was that an obligation to buy Danzo?
No, I think we bought him. I'm sure.
Yeah, because do you think Romero's going this season, Rich? Do you think he's going to go to Madrid or Atletico Madrid?
I think they should sell him regardless.
I think on the last podcast, I said I think Romero's going in the summer.
He's been twerking too much for La Liga. Fucking get him gone. Get him gone and go in a different direction because he is good, but nah.
We need him for the Super Cup though, because he's never lost a final.
I listened to your guys' podcast recently, and I think Tricky, you said he's injured all season, but he'll go to Argentina. Literally, like a fucking week later, he was on the plane to Argentina playing for them.
Yeah,
and then we didn't see him in a Spurs shirt after that.
I think I've said to Tricky a few times as well when he's been injured. I said I guarantee he'll be ready for the international break.
Always.
Go see his mates.
He's a great defender, but I think he can get someone better to play against with Van der Ven. Like, I would take Mark Way from Palace tomorrow to replace Romero. You're looking about similar levels of money. If we sell him for 60, Mark Way for 60 million, I'd be happy with that, I think.
Yeah, but the thing is, his price has gone up. So you guys,
this cup final win.
Exactly. You guys put in. I say you guys. Levy put in an embarrassing bid on final day, 70 million for Gahey. You were never getting him. He left it too late. That was not a serious bid. He just put it out there to go. Oh yeah, Tottenham mean business. That wasn't a serious bid, but it got rejected. He's not 70 million now at the start of summer. He's just they've just won an FA Cup. They've got European football. He's wow. I don't know. I just don't think he's for sale. I would say, oh, he's £100 million player, but he's not. He's just not for sale. Is the honest answer of it? They now don't need the money.
The thing is that European football will sway a lot of players' minds as well, whether to stay or not.
Champions League does sway a lot of players. And talk about stupid bids, Tricky. What did Arsenal bid for Watkins in January?
It's about 60 million, but I tell you what, I don't think that was a silly bid because if we'd have got him, there could have been a difference there. Someone that knows how to put a ball in the back of the net. I know he has purple patches, and sometimes he does it, sometimes he can do it, but I don't think that was a silly bid.
Harry Kane's release clause drops to 57 million in January. Just saying.
Fucking triply. Again, I think I said this last time, didn't I? What he's done there is the equivalent of losing your virginity at a brothel. It's nothing to be proud of. I think.
I don't think I would have Harry Kane back. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, he's a phenomenal player. What he's done, but by the time he comes back, like, he's going to be 33, and the amount of money he's not going to want to be a super sub, is he? He's going to want to play all the time.
Yeah. Well, look, he's got a bit of an ego. You look at the Euros final. He was not fit to be playing. And he was crap, but he still insisted on he's the main guy. He's going to play. He shouldn't have been on that pitch.
I think I've said this to you before as well. Like, you go 6 years ago, the Champions League final. If Kane was a team player, he would have let Poch or told Poch to start Mora in that final, and then come on like with 30 minutes left or something,
Yeah, but he's not because he wants the stats.
but he didn't. Yeah, and he'd not played for 4 months, and then started.
Yeah, I know. It's a
It's
bit of a joke. I'd stay well clear. Again, he's. I wouldn't be surprised. There's a little part of me that do Man United get him? Do they? It's the sort of stupid signing that they do.
For me, he's the sort of. It's the only sort of real sensible move to the Premier League for him is Man United.
Yeah, because he can't.
He's going to be guaranteed game time.
He'd be guaranteed at Chelsea as well. He would be guaranteed at Chelsea, but he's never going to go to Chelsea, is he?
Yeah. I just don't.
But he comes back to England.
This is no disrespect to him,
Europe,
but
though.
I just don't like the Bundesliga. It's just a one-horse race, isn't it? Obviously, you had the freak thing last year where Leverkusen won it, but
Kane's first season.
Yeah, I know. Like, but part of me likes to think that Wednesday night it was because he was obviously watching the game because he put it on his story. But part of him, as soon as that final whistle went, he just looked at it and just went, "Fuck."
It would mean more, wouldn't it, if he won it with Spurs
100%.
than it would with Bayern Munich?
Yeah,
100%.
Like, can I just say, right? It's nice to see a Spurs legend, like Spurs and England legend, go abroad and win titles. I don't think enough's been made of Eric Dyer winning the Bundesliga.
Yeah, look at that. Well done. I just think they've ended up in a team that is you're guaranteed a title. He's not risked anything. He hasn't gone to. He didn't even go to. If he went to Barcelona, that would have been more of a thing. At least there's another team out there.
It's a bit like a couple of years ago when Grealish moved to City. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah,
like
he's guaranteed
Grealish
himself.
wanted to win. Grealish wanted to win some stuff.
Yeah,
so he moved to City. Like just to guarantee he's going to win something, right? Which makes it funnier that, like you say, Bayern didn't win anything in the first year there.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just when he looks back, like you look at Son and the Kane now. Like when they look back and say, "Oh, what did you win, Dad?" He goes, "Oh, I won the Bundesliga." And then Kane, like Son, can be like, "I won a European trophy with the club that I wanted to win it with." It's
yeah. So I'm going to talk about the mighty Arsenal for a little bit because
it's at the time. We need to wrap this up now, don't we?
Here we go.
The end of the show.
Now I have
the Spurs theme tune.
Yeah, I have said already that Arsenal have had a bad season, and they have had a bad season. It's been disappointing. I kind of feel as if they gave up in January, like you said, with the stupid £60 million bid for Watkins. That was at the last couple of days of the transfer window. They did nothing up until then. And if they were serious,
it was almost like a Daniel Levy-esque move, wasn't it? Like wait till the last bit, put a bid in, and then say we tried.
It could well have been. In fairness, it could well have been. I do think because Jonathan Duran, a bid went in for him, Arsenal had to react because it was like, oh crap, if we're going to get Watkins, this is our only chance. But like you said, yeah, it could be exactly that, and they knew he was never going to go anywhere because they knew Duran was going. But they didn't do anything, and that really scuppered things because, like you said, we had a lot of injuries. Even in that January, our whole front line was decimated. Luckily, we've got the world's best striker in Moreno, who is just... Honestly, if you bought a striker in January and he did what Moreno's done since January, you'd be like, "Oh my god, we've bought the next Messi." Maybe not quite that much, but he's done.
You heard
about
first. You heard it first. Tricky is comparing Mourinho to Lionel Messi.
No. But what I'm saying is, as a defensive midfielder, he has done absolute top draw, really. As a stand-in, I think he's been absolutely brilliant. Some of the goals...
Hasn't Pedro Porro scored more goals than him this season?
Yeah, he's had a whole season, though. Marino's only played since January, really. He played a little bit in defensive midfield, but not. He's a squad player, and then they put
Okay,
him
but
up top.
Porro's never played as a striker, so like just
No, but he's a very attacking player, as Porro, isn't he? Come on, let's behave.
What do you think of Merino as a player though, Trick? Not as the world class striker that you're making him out to be, like the second comer Zlatan, but as like a midfielder, do you think he does a job in midfield for Arsenal going forward?
We're getting Zubimendi. We've got Declan Rice playing as an 8, and we've got Odegaard, who Odegaard has been a massive disappointment this season. He's
No
got to
show
be
Odegaard.
You sell him?
not yet.
Big money comes in for him. Would you play either midfielders, Zubimendi, Merino, and Rice, and release Rice into more of an attacking position? I think that works personally. And I haven't got rose tinted glasses like you have.
No. I think he gets, if he has another season like he did this season, there's got to be a serious conversation had about him. I don't know what I got a Arsenal mate of mine that I messaged him. Okay. I'm going to say to you, I shouldn't really say what I say in the DMs because it's not appropriate and we're about to post it out there. But I did message my mate and just say, so has Odegaard got AIDS or something? Because what the fuck is going on with him? Because he's all gaunt and he's been completely space jammed. Yeah, all right, look. But, and
Space jammed. Fucking hell.
Yeah, well, he has been space jammed.
So this is turning out to be the podcast of all podcasts because you started the podcast off by calling us special people, and then you said about Mourinho being the next Lionel Messi, and now you're talking about AIDS. Brilliant.
This season's like broke tricky clearly this season.
Say it as it is, mate.
I'm surprised Arteta hasn't fucking registered himself in the squad.
Oh mate, there was a point in time where it's like, oh, maybe get your boots on, son. It's time to go. There was massive concern about Odegaard, and if he has another season like he does, then that will be where the money goes in the following season. I think right now we've got a lot to do, and it makes me wonder. I kind of feel like we might be selling someone, and it's going to be someone painful. It's going to be,
Lieber.
Wasn't there talk of Partey going?
Yeah, so he's out of contract, but he wants to stay at Arsenal, and Arsenal have now decided they want to keep him. So there's talks going right now, but there's a chance he could go.
Is that so they'll always have a party?
Well done. That's great.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, no, it's well done. Yeah, it's great.
I'm witnessing Richard's puns in real time here.
Yeah, I know. It is as painful as... At least you can fucking skip them. And
they're as painful as an Arteta press conference. That's what it is.
Look, Arteta press conferences are painful. I don't know why people waste their time with it, because he's not going to... One, he won't tell the truth. Two, he's not actually giving you any information.
Mate, his latest ones have been hilarious. Like...
He's very close to having a breakdown.
So, obviously, they had the press conferences where, I don't know if you saw him, where he was comparing Arsenal's points. When Liverpool won the league on 82 points, he was comparing to previous seasons that Arsenal would have won the league in the previous seasons, even though it was less points.
Yeah.
And then after the Newcastle game, he was comparing his injuries to other teams and all this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And going through all that. And then the last press conference on Friday, the journalist said to him, do you think other certain teams in the league have had a more successful season than you? And straight away went, I don't like to compare teams.
He just looks at his own team, which is right. That's actually the right thing to say. What he was saying about PSG,
comparing teams.
What he was saying about PSG, we're the better team, and all that sort of thing. It is just like, just be quiet.
But it's even when he turned around and said, "Well, the PSG bench told me that."
Yeah,
he fucking didn't.
No, look, he's in the middle of a breakdown. Leave him be. I do think he's going to be putting a lot of pressure, and he already is putting a lot of pressure on the board, and said, you've got to do your job now. Do your job, because he said, I need more players. And I think we're going for a striker. I think we're going for someone on the left wing. We're getting Zubimendi, so that's the midfield. And we're going to get a backup goalkeeper. That's a lot of players, because these players are not going to be, these are going to be, we're not going to go cheap on the players. I can't imagine Now, I don't actually mind. When we bought the likes of Guendouzi, I love those sort of signings. The sort of signing that you've never heard of them before, and they're absolute bloody gems. Um, I don't mind that sort of a player, but I don't think we're doing that. I think we're going top whack on a striker. I think we're going top whack on someone on the left. Zubamendi is a top draw player. Yeah, I, and it makes me think, who are we selling?
How much money do Arsenal have to spend on transfers this summer, realistically? And looking at the players they're linked with currently, I think it's not feasible. Like Rodrigo from Real Madrid is the big one, isn't he?
Yeah,
Being linked for the left side. Like, if that happens, Martinelli's gone, surely. But how much money do they have then to spend on a striker?
they have.
That's 150 million, Rodrigo.
They've never been in trouble with PSR ever. They've been close. They've always, for the last, since Arteta's been there, they have spent the maximum they can, but still being in PSR. So that says to me, between 150 and 200 million they can spend. And with the Champions League, with the way they run the club, that's sort of the ballpark. But I still think maybe someone's going, and I'm not sure who. Now, he played Ben White. Go on.
No, I was going to sort of like slightly still on Arsenal, but just on a serious note, how many more seasons would you personally give Arteta if he doesn't? Because obviously you're like 5 years into a rebuild now.
Yep.
Like how, and after the way this season, like obviously amazing, you got to the semi-finals of Champions League, but like you dropped off a lot compared to points compared to previous seasons.
But we had a lot of injuries. We've had a lot of injuries, and they didn't put their hand in the pocket for a striker.
So say you go another 2 seasons without winning anything. Are you still going to be like Arteta?
Problem for me is I still remember being 8th, the season being over in December, and just being completely fed up January sort of time. And I remember that, and I don't have that. Do you know, people were complaining, oh, that's it. The season's over. Like, it's May. It's the start of May. Okay, the season's over, but there's like 3 games left. Behave yourself. Because I remember being 8th, and there has been constant progression with them, and I feel as if that
also, like, this isn't a dig, but also like the progression Spurs had after, like, obviously like Harry Redknapp, Martin Jol, and then eventually on to Pochettino. Like, we were consistently in the top 4 and doing well, and the progression was there.
And then you got rid of Pochettino.
To the Champions League final, but we were still ridiculed and said it doesn't mean anything, and if you're not winning trophies. So that's my point. Is like how many more seasons? Say, I think they are close to win the trophy, like Arsenal, but how many more seasons do you go without winning anything before you sort of like?
Honestly, I think the way the team are performing, can perform, and they're competing for everything, I think you give him as long as he wants to be there. I honestly feel as if there'll be, if he doesn't win anything in, let's say, 3 seasons, he'll walk. I've had enough. I've done everything I can.
8 years.
Yeah.
Would you be happy, Tricky, as an Arsenal fan, not winning anything?
No,
but still having Arteta as a manager. That's what you've just said, though, right?
I've said this season it's been a bad season and not happy. But who do you get in? Who do you get in that's going to do better? Because right now he's got the trust of the owners, and they are giving him as much money as they possibly can every season.
But how long before they start thinking we're throwing all this money and you're not actually getting over the line?
Yeah, and that's the clubs, and do you know what? If they turn around and sack him next season because he doesn't win something, then that's up to the. I, j- they're
But
not
no, what I mean,
stupid
yeah,
people.
but
They can
as I
see
meant,
there's been progression every year.
but as a fan base, like from your point of view, not like the board of directors and all that sort of thing, you'd be happy keeping there 8 years and not won anything.
I want them to strengthen the squad. Get some. He's spent God knows how much on a defense and to make.
Okay, so say the next 6 transfer windows he's accumulated, he spent 800 million. Yet in 3 years' time, you've still not won anything. You're gonna be happy with that because
No,
the squad's strengthened.
I'm not happy this season that they didn't win something, but I do. I can still see the progression. I can see the reasons why we didn't get it over the line, and we were unlucky with injuries, and they didn't. The real part where they really fucked up was not taking January seriously. And it might have been a case that they couldn't because of PSR, but they could have got look at what Aston Villa did. They loaned in a couple of players, and it completely switched them up. We could have loaned someone. Um,
But you've also said like the board are like obviously really happy with him, they're backing him and all this sort of thing.
mm.
So why have they not bought him a striker that you want?
Again, could be PSR, could be something, but regardless, I don't know what. I don't know why they didn't do it. I don't know why. Maybe they thought that the injuries weren't as bad as they were, and actually, oh well, Saka will be back soon, and that'll save us. And but actually, it's not enough. It's nowhere near enough.
I know
I
that
think
a lot of the injuries Arsenal have had have been. I'm not saying all of them. I know because obviously Saka was out for ages and all that sort of thing. But the reason I know Arsenal have had quite the highest injury things, a lot of them have been like little injuries where they missed one game, but that obviously goes towards it and stuff like that.
hmm,
But
Havertz was out for a long time. Saka was out for a long time. Odegaard was out for a long time. Ben White's been most of the season.
but if Havertz wasn't injured and he was still playing, are you saying like they would have done better then?
At least there'd have been someone up top. To be honest, maybe
Because we've
not.
seen Havertz play.
Yeah, I know. Maybe not. Because to be honest, do you think Havertz would have done better than Marino had done? Possibly not. Possibly not. Because you know, in fairness to Marino, he's done very well. But
There's been I think
there were times where Marino could have done with a rest, and then he'd have been better the game after that. But there's been no, there's been games where we've had 4 left backs on the pitch.
mm,
So I,
I think the problem is Trick, right? You came on my show last year and we raved about Arsenal. What we all did, we said they played the best football,
yeah,
they'd improved massively. This season, you've not just stagnated, you haven't looked like really mounting a serious challenge for anything. I know the Champions League run was great. I think that stems from this season's transfer business has been poor since the summer, not just January.
yeah, I
You
don't.
bought a centre back. You bought a centre back that you didn't need. You got Raheem Sterling on loan.
Oh,
Those are big
yeah,
mistakes for a club of Arsenal's size
yeah,
and what they want to do going forward
yeah,
to make. And like, I think personally that Arsenal will be having a side eye at a few other managers, and I think one of your former players is doing a great job with Como at Serie A currently. I think, yeah, we'll keep an eye on him, see how he gets on. He's just he'll stay at Como for another year. Despite being linked to the Bayer Leverkusen job, I think he's also got an eye on the Arsenal job, and that's Cesc Fabregas.
yeah.
Doing a great job in
mm.
Italy.
I don't think Arsenal not doing well in the transfer window is Arteta Arteta's fault, because Arteta truly, he says who he wants, and it's down to, and I'll tell you now, I guarantee you, he said to them last summer, I want Isak. Last summer he'd have said that, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were trying to go in for him, and actually it fucked their whole summer up because they behind closed doors they've been trying to get this guy, trying to get him, and it never happened.
See, this is what annoys me about football teams, like, 'cause it happens a lot. Sort of, so you've got managers saying they want certain players or they want a certain pedigree of players, and then the directors or CEOs of the football clubs are basically buying who they want to buy.
Yeah,
Like, you've been crying out for a striker, and the first player you bought was a bloody midfielder.
Yeah.
Like Tottenham are a prime example of it, like saying what players we want, and then we go shop on bloody Timo
Yeah.
for players instead of buying bigger ones. And it like a good prime example as well is Real Madrid. They've just bought Hosan from Bournemouth, and they've got Trent going, but they know full well Ancelotti's leaving. So they're not buying players for the manager; they're buying players to get their names in their shirts. Yeah,
And this is the thing with managers having the trust of the owners, and that's one thing I feel as if Arteta does have, and it is a plus point having that. Whereas a manager who doesn't have the trust, the owners aren't going to buy their players. That the club's going to buy players that, oh look, we need someone that's going to have resale value in the future, because if we go for all his guys, we could be in a mess. If he, look at Man United, Ten Hag, and Onana as a goalkeeper is an absolute textbook. So there are some clubs that they don't 100, they have that policy to have that disconnect to make it possible.
this is where I think
to sack a manager.
This is where I think a lot of the football's changed in the last couple of years. Like I've said this to you before. You look back at the eras of Wenger and Ferguson, and
they bought their play. Yeah,
man, just like they bought their players. They said,
Yes.
"I want this player," or "I don't want this one," and they wouldn't have them.
100%.
Whereas, and you almost like managers. Obviously, they want managers to win and play their style of football, but they're not giving them the players that they want. They're giving them the players that the club wants.
They're not managers; they're coaches.
Yeah,
They actually got Arteta as a coach, and then he did so well that they're like, oh, he's going to be a manager from now on. I don't know what difference that is, but I'm guessing he has a much heavier say on the players that he wants. And I do think largely they've picked good players. Even he's been questioned a lot of times. When we bought Ben White, everyone was like, what the fuck are you doing there? It's only recently the likes of Raheem Sterling's rocked up, who Arteta did not want him. Did not want him at all. That was a desperation grab.
that was I think that was more of a panic signing, wasn't it? Sort of like,
100%.
oh, we got a few injuries, we need to bulk the team up, and
It was a total disaster. Absolute. I don't know what he's going to do now. What's Raheem Sterling going to do? Because he's not going to start at Chelsea.
I think I said to you last time, didn't I? I could see him end up like
Leeds.
Chelsea selling him somewhere like Leeds or something like that, or
Yeah,
where he'll get more time. And
Sunderland.
yeah, they've been promoted now, haven't they?
Yeah, they're going to get a major though, aren't they, in the Premier League?
Yeah, big
When
time.
all three of those teams promoted, there's going to be no relegation battle again next season. They're all going back down.
Yeah, I do think
Bellingham in the Premier League.
Burnley's goalkeeper gets snapped up when they get relegated, because they will get relegated. So someone will have him on some sort of relegation clause. But yeah, apart
Do you
from
reckon Nottingham Forest goalkeeper will stay at Nottingham Forest?
yeah,
Or do you reckon someone will try and snap him up?
no, they've got European football. They're living the dream. I think he'll stay.
But like,
It's the likes of Gibbs White.
Because obviously, like they've got Nottingham Forest have they got European or Conference?
It's Conference League.
So say like Aston Villa, who knows Martinez is going, say they went in for a player like Sals. Do you think he might be sort of like tempted because it's obviously a better European competition and more? Because yes, Nottingham Forest have done well this season, but there's probably more chance of Aston Villa staying up near the top 8 than there is Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean there is that option.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Forest goalie in the Tottenham shirt, to be honest. But
Really, I don't rate him. Sells. I think he's had a really good season this season, but I don't think he's done much before this season that stood out. I would take Trafford from Burnley over Sells any day of the week.
Yeah, but Vicario hasn't had a standout season yet.
No, I'm not saying he has. But I think Trafford or Ramsdale, like we said earlier, would be better alternatives to Vicario and Sells, personally. Villa will look to Europe. Like, obviously, Emery's got a lot of contacts, hasn't he, in Spain. There's a lot of good goalkeepers in Spain. They'll get a lot more money playing for Villa. So I think that's where they'll go.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Well, I kind of feel as if it's sort of wrapping up time, guys. So we've talked about where you think Spurs should be next season. Who do you think is going to win the Premier League next season?
It's for me. It's going to be out of Liverpool, City, and Arsenal, because
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be one of them three again, isn't it?
I
Well, I
think
say
Liverpool
again. Sorry,
comfortably.
I think. Yeah, I'm kind of. If you look at who Liverpool are looking to buy, they're getting that Verts guy for God knows how much money. They've got a quality right back coming in, and they're getting a quality left back. They're kind of addressing all of their position. If they get a striker on top of that, I mean, scary.
Yeah, they're gonna be good next season with Vets and Frimpong are both very good players. Is it like Kerkez from
Kirkez
Bournemouth
from
linked with
Bournemouth.
Arna,
Mm.
who's been good this season, hasn't he? Probably the best left back in the Premier League this season.
They literally think he's that could happen next week.
I could see Mbeumo going to Liverpool as a backup to Salah because Salah's kind of on the decline, isn't he? I think
Yeah, he's got.
Mbeumo as a backup.
Yeah, I mean that's
It hurt me
scary.
though, 'cause I love Mbeumo.
I
Yeah,
think
that is scary. Yeah,
I think they need They need a striker is the last stone. You know what I mean? Like old what's his face from Avengers. Come on, Rich. Who is it? Purple geezer snapping his fingers.
Thanos.
Thanos. Yeah, they got that. They need that last stone, and it's a striker. And I kind of feel as if once they've got themselves a striker, it's scary times.
Isaac would be awesome at Liverpool. I don't like Liverpool. I probably dislike Liverpool more than I do Arsenal. In all fairness, like Isaac went there, he'd have the time of his life playing for Liverpool.
No, I know. I don't think. I was keeping a very close eye because I was absolutely convinced. I was absolutely convinced if Newcastle hadn't got Champions League, Arsenal would be in for Isaac. But they have got Champions League. I don't think he's going to go anywhere because he does love it in Newcastle. And now that they've got Champions League, there's no reason for him to go anywhere. So I don't know. I don't think he'd be moving.
Maybe Gyökeres, isn't it, to Arsenal?
Or
Sporting. I think he'll be the one for you.
yeah, they're talking about a young lad called Sesko. Oh, sorry, guys.
Very good.
A young guy called
Very
Sesko,
good
which
player.
I don't know anything about. I know about that Gyökeres guy because he scored like 60 goals or something this season. That's the only reason I know. He played at Coventry, didn't he? He banged in a load of goals there.
Yeah. Scored in the cup final today as well.
Did he? Yeah,
Won the double Sporting.
he looks like a total machine.
Sesko reminds me of like a slightly better Nicholas Bentner. Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, okay, brilliant. The Lord reincarnated.
Lord Bentner.
Look, we'll see. The only thing I was thinking to myself, everyone, all the people in the know, have been talking about Gyökeres. They've been talking about Sesko, and that's when I was convinced. Like, no one's talking about Isak. No one's talking about him, and I just feel as if we've been after him for so long that can they pull off a madness? I don't know. I doubt it now. I really don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, I was. That's with that Aston Villa shit that happened. I was fuming at it. Yet another refereeing balls up all season, and that's sort of like it's the final game, and all they've done it again. You know, it's just a joke.
And we appreciate though Emiliano Martinez's possibly final appearance in the Villa shirt.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That tackle today was a thing of beauty, wasn't it? Seeing him totally steamroll that defender, and then look with his hands out. What did
Yeah.
I do?
What?
Gotta love that fucking. You've got to love that guy, haven't you?
Yeah, you know, he is a really good goalkeeper. It'd be interesting to see
Take
where
him
he's
at
going.
Spurs.
Oh yeah,
Champions League football next season at Spurs, Martinez.
yeah, yeah.
So is it a dead set that Martinez is leaving then?
Oh mate, he's been crying. He was crying at his last get. You know, he's got to be gone. He was bawling his eyes out.
I've not seen any talk of him like anywhere linked with anywhere or
No,
anything like that.
I know,
or-
but he wouldn't cry like that if it was just the last game of the season. He was bawling his
Yeah, I
eyes
guess.
out at the last at Villa Park. He's got to be gone.
But Barca, that's where he'll end up. They need to keep it badly, and he's got Spain, isn't he? He'll love it there.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. Right, I'm going to wrap things up, but Ian, thank you very much for jumping on. It's been nice
Anytime.
chatting about the football, and guys, go and check out Gaming Generations podcast. I'm guessing I'm going to be jumping on with you at some point. Not.
We've got a Man U fan coming on, Trick.
Oh,
Go football
I'm
score.
there. Oh, I'm there. I'm there. That's it. I'll be back.
I had Man U fan. It's going to be gold. I feel like you two will come to some disagreements there, but 'cause he's not
Beautiful.
very rational when it comes to Man U. So
Oh,
yeah,
perfect.
it'll be fun. That.
Perfect. Just let me loose. That brilliant. Love it.
So you're gonna have like an irrational Man U fan and an irrational Arsenal fan on the same podcast.
100%. Oh,
Yeah,
especially if I can see I'm touching a nerve, and then I'm like, oh, here we go. Yeah, love it.
Oh, it's Tricky poke the bear, mate. Poke
Yeah,
that bear.
good. All right, yeah, we'll do that, but it'd be very good. So yeah, everyone, check out Game Generations podcast. We will be back fairly shortly, and it'll be back to normal, where we're going to be talking games, movies, and actually no football for a couple of months. Which you know what, I'm actually a bit glad about, to be honest with you. Maybe we'll talk transfers a little bit, but it's going to be games and movies. Back to normal. And Ian, we'll have to get you on for just a normal show where we're talking games and movies and a little bit of football. But today we had to, Spurs have won a major trophy. It's a really big achievement. So I did think we had to jump on and have a chat about things. And I think, do you know what? I think it's gone very well, because I actually had a little bingo card to one side of little things that I was guessing were going to be said, and it hasn't actually come up. So I think we've done very well.
I kind of want to know what's on this bingo card now.
It was at least we won it. I was thinking about what I was going to say, and I knew I was going to say you were the worst club to ever win it, and I was like, oh, definitely he's going to respond with at least we've won it. And yeah, what else was the other ones? I had a few. There was a few that, I find it funny. What was the other? Narrative, which I think did come up. It did come up.
You can't. Arsenal fans can't say anything about a narrative change, can they?
Look,
'Cause you were
I
the
had a little
worst ones
bingo
for
card, and it's gone very well. So yeah, do you guys want to just sign out and then I'll say goodbye? What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to say thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
You're very good at that, Rich. You
Give
are
the
very.
follow, yeah. Well,
I
it
always
needs to be said at the beginning of the thing, really, doesn't it?
No, I know, but
But-
you know what I'm like. Just I'd rather.
But I'm also looking forward to Wednesdays, or was it Wednesday or Thursday when Chelsea play? So if they
It's
win,
Wednesday.
then Wednesday. If they win, then obviously you've got like the big London boys in the last couple of years winning trophies, like your Chelsea, Tottenham, West Ham, Crystal Palace.
Hey, we've just won the
Yeah, that's
Champions
about it.
League.
I think. Yeah,
We've just won the Champions League.
I said the London boys.
Oh, okay, all right. Bit sexist, but okay. Rich the misogynist.
That's the one.
Where's
that
your
doesn't
wife? Where's your wife? Is she in the kitchen? She is, isn't she?
No, she's right there actually.
Oh, is she? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Cool. All right. Well, Ian, again, one more time. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. I've really enjoyed it. It's great to be on with you guys.
Nice.
And anyone
Okay.
listening, subscribe to their show. It's a really good show.
Ah, look at that. If we can get the audio right. Quick apology on the audio. I've been having a fucking nightmare with it. And this one, I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to dick around with it. We're going to record as is. So if Rich's levels are out, it's his fucking fault. I'll leave it at that. Next time, we're going to be talking games. We're going to be talking movies. Back to normal. Also getting Hayden on at some point as well, Ian. So, yeah.
Strap in. It'll be a 4 or 5 hour show. That Hayden can talk.
Yeah, he can. Bless him. But
was this the Assassin's Creed one?
Yes, we're going to talk. Yeah, we'll talk. Well,
Yeah.
we'll see
You,
what
you need to come and get that as well, don't you?
I will. I'll come and get it and give it a quick play, so I've got some input on it. But just so
We
you're
won't
aware,
like it.
Rich, Hayden last month had a Xbox score of 9,000 gamer score, which is I don't think the whole time I've been playing Xbox I've even got 9,000 gamer score, and he did it in a month.
Yeah, I don't think I have.
God knows how he did it, but so we will be talking to Hayden at some point, which is going to be.
So what you're saying then is I need to do a desk upgrade and get like a little mini fridge put in.
Mate,
I need to get like a
if the
snack
audio
bar
works
and, like,
on this, if the audio works on this, and you change your desk or you do anything with it, you're fucking sacked. I've had enough of the fucking audio. It's been doing my head in. Not that it is your fault. I've been pissing about with it and it hasn't gone well, but hopefully we are, fingers crossed, going to be doing a little better going forward. Thanks, guys, for listening. If you're not into football, I'm amazed you're still here. But thank you for listening, and we will see you on the next one. Goodbye.